Hi, I'm Jim Shaw, Chairman of the Board of LexMedia and publisher of Lexington's Colonial Times. I'm back here this afternoon with another installment in our series of updates regarding COVID-19 here in Lexington. Yesterday, we started the series. It's with the town manager, who will be with us every Monday at I think 4 o'clock. I'm not sure. I think that's the time that we're scheduling these things. But more importantly, we want some consistency. So while the town manager will do it Monday, Tuesday through Friday, we'll have members of the Board of Selectmen coming on and talking with us for a brief update. This is just to sort of bring folks information about where we stand this day, because things do change every day. You know, in the beginning, it was changing rapidly. Now we kind of get a handle on it. So some days there'll be more things to update, some days less things or fewer things to update on. But with me today, I'm really delighted to have my friend and a great servant of the town of Lexington, Doug Lucente, who is chairman of the select board here in Lexington. Doug was just reelected to his second term, and he currently serves as chairman of the board. And I know that he's been working countless hours, both here helping the town manager run the business of town government, and also dealing with the COVID crisis, and then also running a business of his own. So, Doug, with that, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us, and we do appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you, Jim. I want to give a big thank you to LexMedia for hosting this, and in particular you for putting your time and energy into this. This is a big step up for everyone to really get the information out in a timely basis. It's at a time today where the community wants regular updates on what's happening in Lexington. This is so critical, and I can't thank you enough and LexMedia for really supporting this effort. I think it's really wonderful. It's great.
Well, thank you for that. We're here. We're working hard, and we've got a great staff over at LexMedia, and of course our staff at the Colonial Times is pitching in on the editorial side. So we appreciate that. But we're from here. This is our hometown. So we subscribe to, we're all in this together. So we thank you for that, Doug. Let's come right out of the gate with something I know that you and I talked about that was really important. And it's important that the community know, and that is that the generous contribution, the gift that was made by Takeda to the town of Lexington, which is being directed to the Fund for Lexington. Can you talk a little bit about that and how it will be used, and acknowledge the gift on behalf of Takeda?
Sure. Thank you, Jim. I can't thank Takeda enough for their generosity. They had just donated this past week $250,000 to help residents that are in need, that are facing financial crisis. As we all know from this pandemic, there's going to be a series of folks that are struggling financially, and food insecurity issues, people that are struggling to stay in their homes. And this is going to go a long, long way to help those individuals through the town. So if you find yourself in need, or you find people that you know in need, folks should reach out to the Human Services Department. They will be administering the fund and the funds available, and really working with the individuals to identify what they need most and how the town can help. I also want to just put it out there that the Fund for Lexington is also continuing to receive and accept donations. All donations made from now until the crisis, maybe I think we picked September 1st. All donations from this time to that time will go toward this crisis and helping individuals that are struggling. So the Fund for Lexington board has committed to redirecting all of those funds to that effort. So that's great. And if people want some more information on where to get help, the town has set up a website or a web page. It's lexingtonma.gov/COVID-19. And on that page, there's all sorts of resources for people that need help. And then we've also had folks that have reached out and they want to help. There's ways to help there. If folks want to donate, though, they're more than welcome to the fund, and there's an address on there they can send the check to. I'll also point out, Jim, that this week we're in the process of setting up an online donation portal that will be directed to the Fund for Lexington, and a great thanks to the town manager and the finance department for getting that set up so quickly. Appreciate it.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on. I know that we did cover a lot of things yesterday with Jim Malloy. So the whole nature of this is sort of like a daily update. So what are some of the things that you're hearing today? I know there was a Board of Selectmen meeting last night that occurred after our discussion with Jim Malloy. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what happened there, what you guys discussed there, and also the basic statistics. I know we had. The last I checked, we had 27 confirmed cases in Lexington, and I know that changes almost on a daily basis. But it seems to me that it may be slowing down, but I don't want to read anything into that. But no, when I say that, I should check that, because I don't mean it's slowing down. It's just great. I'm grateful to see that the numbers aren't jumping like 2 or 3 at a time. And that's what I mean by that. So
yeah. So today's Tuesday, March 31st, and as of today, there are 27 residents that have been infected with the coronavirus. We currently have 36 residents that are in self-quarantine. As everyone knows, this continues to be a very serious threat to our community and the community at large. And I just also want to thank all the residents of Lexington for their flexibility and for their resilience during this period. This has been really a trying time for everybody. But as I look out my window on a busy street, it's not busy. People are taking the warning seriously. They are staying home. We would just like to reiterate that folks should continue to reduce their group activities, stay home, do a favor, not just for yourself, but for everybody in the community around you. We're not in a police state in Lexington, and people are free to move about, but we really would love folks to, not be organizing sports activities and really staying off the fields. And if you need to get some fresh air, go for a walk. Don't organize an event.
Right.
So
Now, in terms of the numbers, though, one of the things is we have a lot of folks who are coming out of quarantine too. There's a significant number of people who have sort of quarantined, come out of it, and now are sort of back to normal, as whatever normal is.
Yeah, so
you understand what I'm saying.
There's 43 residents that have come off the quarantine, but we don't want to give a false sense that that's good news. I mean, it's good news that people are coming off, but it's not the state where we are at this point.
Right. It's going to continue to increase. Then we do understand that. Yeah. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it will. And so it really takes everybody, it takes a village, and this is one of those instances where everybody has to pitch in and do their part by staying home.
Right.
To also talk a little bit about, the trying time that we're going through, there's a lot of residents that may be feeling some depression, anxiety over this. And I want to remind folks that if you have mental health services needs, please visit our town's website and get information on our William James Interface referral service. That's a referral service that's free to Lexington residents. They can go and see or talk to someone about getting a mental health referral. There's going to be a lot of mental health needs that stem from the series of events that we've been going through, and I think it's helpful for people sometimes to talk to a professional during this time. So please feel free to reach out there. You'd also asked about, we did have a meeting last night, and one of the topics of last night was town meeting. The board has agreed to move forward with exploring further the idea of a virtual town meeting. We, in consultation with the town moderator, Deborah Brown, and town council, Mina Makarios, we've been looking at different ways that we can have a legally valid town meeting that not everybody's physically present. So we're going to continue down that path. It will be a very different town meeting than folks are used to. We're looking at having a large consent agenda. We're really trying to reduce the number of votes that need to be taken. And we're working, a group of us are working on the technological challenges around that and how to roll that out. just to give folks an anticipated time frame, I think we're looking at the end of May or the middle to the end of May before we'd actually have that town meeting. So that was one of the big decisions out of last night, is how to sort of push this forward to the next phase.
Right. And the state government, you're working shoulder to shoulder with the state government too, in order to sort of carry on the function in terms of budgeting and appropriating funds and all of that. So
yes,
that's correct. Okay.
Yeah. And I want to give a big shout out to our State House delegation, in particular, Michelle Socolo and Cindy Freeman. They've been wonderful allies in this and really helping, make sure our thoughts and feelings are pushed forward at the state level. So we really appreciate all that they're doing to help support us in this time. So,
okay. I thought we mentioned too, just, we spoke sort of off camera about, although people, it's important that people do get out and get some fresh air, maybe walk the dog, take a walk. People are still, to some degree, and this came up in my discussion yesterday with Jim Malloy, still congregating in certain areas. I know they've had to lock the tennis courts and then sort of cordon off the basketball courts. So I just think it'd be worth mentioning it again, that it's really essential that people, people actually do, employ sound judgment when it comes to getting together in groups. Saturday, I saw, it was really nice to see a very busy bikeway. But there were good, at times 4 or 5 people standing together, talking. That's kind of counterproductive in what we're trying to get done here. So I thought you'd talk about that.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. I think a good friend of mine, she always says to her children, make good decisions. She always says that. And I think this is one of those points where everyone's got to make good decisions, not just for themselves, but for their neighbors and their friends and the other residents. And now's the time you should think about how your decisions are impacting others. And, keeping close to your home, keeping, close with your family or your loved ones is important. There are other ways to spend time with your friends. You can spend time on FaceTime, a Zoom conference. My family was fortunate this weekend. We had 50 of us on a Zoom family reunion, and it was wonderful. So, there's ways to connect to other people, phone.
And that was just your brothers and sisters, right?
It was. It was actually my immediate family.
Right.
So, Jim, I also want to make a point before we wrap up. I just wanted to also give a big thank you to the first responders, our police, our fire. But I also want to include in that our Department of Public Works, who are keeping things running, and our public facility staff that are doing a great job making sure all of our buildings, our public buildings, are clean and healthy. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the public health staff that they've been on the front line of this. For the real heroes in Lexington right now are those groups of people that are facing this day in, day out, and they're putting their faces out there, dealing with individual residents that may or may not have the coronavirus. And there's a lot of angst that goes with that. And I want to just show my deep appreciation for their continued effort in getting us through this crisis and putting their lives on the line for the better of the town. It's really, really appreciated.
That's true. And we want to express our deep appreciation to you too. I know that you're in there every day. This is taking up a big part of your life. And when you run for a position like the Board of Selectmen, you don't ever think it's going to be this. There's a certain commitment of time, energy, and emotion. But, a lot's been placed on your shoulders. A lot of it has been placed on the shoulders of the other members of the board and the senior leadership, and frankly, all of the town employees. So you guys are stepping up in a big way, and it is very much appreciated. So, Doug, I want to thank you for taking time.
Thank you.
And, as usual, folks should check in with us at the appointed time every day. I think it'll be 4:00. And, we'll get a brief update every day from somebody from the town just to tell us a little bit about what's going on from day to day. So again, Doug, thank you, and thanks everyone for Town of Lexington, and we'll see you all again soon.
Stay safe and healthy.
Same to you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.